Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Garblag Games and another evening of Warhammer Wednesday. Tonight we're doing Age of Sigmar Soulbound, the second episode of Hallowed Are The Gods. We have had a bit of a break. Lots of people have had life things going on, so apologies we haven't been here, but we are back. And without further ado, I will allow this motley crew. I'm sure you don't need them to introduce themselves at this point in time. They've been here every Wednesday, except for the ones we've missed. But here we are, and we'll start with Aaron because he's always the most prepared out of all of us.
Hey everybody, I'm Aaron, and tonight I am playing Grim Redhammer, a Dwarven Fire Slayer, an Auric Rune Smiter, a follower of the god Grimnir in my never-ending search to reclaim him and bring him back to the world.
Okay, following that on, Roger.
Hi, I'm Roger, and I'm playing Borir Ragewood, the Sylvaneth Kurnoth Hunter.
And Dan.
Hi, I'm Other Dan. I am playing Dathos Eltora, Nightquester, Stormcast Eternal, in his silver, blue, and kind of gold trim plated Sigmarite armor.
And last but by no means least, Jim.
I am a dude. Yeah, I'm playing Tanzil Man, and I am a emissary and a Edeneth Deepkin.
Yes, you are, Jim. Cool. Well, that sets the tone then for Jim's character, doesn't it?
I'm just waiting for my set.
Right. Okay. Well, we so on our last episode was character building and a little sort of prologue, as it were. Our heroes were fighting to defend Hammerhal from a great big invasion, and we ended the episode with a story death for our Stormcast Eternal. He got whacked in the face by a big old orc. But don't worry, he's the Stormcast Eternal. They just come back. So we are going to start this week's episode. So we're starting, and we're camera pans around, and you see before you the walls, the top of the walls of Hammerhal, and out looking upon the great parch is a lone figure plated in silver. In their mind, a battle rings, and it's almost like memories flushing back into their mind. And we see Dathos standing there, and he's rubbing the front of his head. He's obviously memories are coming back into his mind. And Dathos, approaching you, is a young elf. And she introduces herself. Lord Dathos, I'm Amelin.
Greetings.
I have been sent by the Lord Celestant to retrieve you to bring you to the meeting.
What meeting?
Oh, of course, my lord. My apologies that you've been reforged. You were due to set out on a task with your fellow, your Soulbound.
Indeed. Then lead the way.
And she kind of bows and flourishes. She looks a bit awkward in this moment, because obviously, you know, young elf talking to a mighty Stormcast Nightquester. But she excitedly sort of leads you along the walls, and you're coming towards the tower, and you can see it's like a sort of, you know, where the wall starts to turn and there's a tower sort of there, but it looks very imposing. Similar to a storm keep. It's like a smaller version of a storm keep, which for those of you at home, a big storm keep is generally what the Stormcast build in random places to keep control of things. You can see on top there's some silver archers, and as you're approaching, you see a group standing before the big main door of the tower, and you recognize them but don't recognize them. You know when that name is on the tip of your tongue, and you know, I know that person, but I'll let them describe how that, if they're pleased to see you or not. But standing before you is a dwarden, a tree, and an elf. And would you guys like to say hi to your erstwhile comrade who's just returned?
So you see Grim Redhammer. He's tall for a dwarven, almost 5 feet broad. He perpetually has this heavy helm on with a large white or red crest across the top, and his long plaited beard. But he's under the cheek pieces. You can see his face is horribly scarred, and it goes down his neck. He turns. About time you decided to get back in the game. Feels like we've been waiting here forever for you. The damn tree just about put roots down.
The tree just turns, looks at you, completely impassive look on the face, and just a barely perceptible nod.
I'm going to flick my hair to make sure that everybody is covered by a little bit of water. Hey, well, man, we'll do it. Yeah, you keep your chill.
I recognize all your faces, but I don't know who you
It's
are.
important that we all get on. Yeah, across everything. We really need to get on. Yeah, we need a strong connection. Yeah, maybe we should get some parchment and write down our feelings. And, see where we are, see where we come from.
It's going to be really hard keeping a serious face. So he looks at the deep kit and just kind of turns to look at the tree. Is about to say something, then probably feels that's probably not going to be a productive conversation. So turns to the dwarf. Please explain what is going on.
Oh, that's easy. An Ulrich split your head in half while we were holding the gap at Hammerhal a while ago, and we've been waiting around for you to get your act back together. Apparently they got a job for us, and I need to make some coin, and we need to find some gold. So we're gonna get down to business. In case you have forgotten who I am, my name's Grim Redhammer. Feel free to call me Grim.
Grim it is.
The elf, Tanzel, and his eel. They keep splattering water.
Was
all
that
over
what
the
that
damn
is?
place. Yeah. And then of course the tree is Borear Ragewood. I've never seen him rage, but I have seen him hit some things pretty damn hard. So you should be in good company.
And he has wood.
Well, I have to say
lead the way.
Names are a bit aggressive, man. Yeah. Ragewood. Yeah. Wow. Come on. And Red Hammer, have you thought of something simple like Red Feather?
Amelin sensing the direction that this is not going productively as well. Sorry to interrupt, great and noble heroes, but the Lord Celestant is waiting for us. So if you could, and she opens the big door and you sort of walk into the sort of antechamber as it was, and it's quite grand. A bit Spartan. It's not like loads of decorations, but it's grand. It's big. There's weapons on the walls. You can see a couple of stormcasts sort of patrolling, and then there's a staircase leading up. And she starts to lead you up the staircase. And as you're making your way up the staircase, you sort of go past the first floor, and there's again another load of stormcasts in there. There doesn't seem anywhere that they would sleep, but they're there. And then you're going up towards the top. So it'd be the top floor before you get sort of like on the roof, as it were. And you can hear a voice. And it's, at first it's muffled, but as you get closer, it's starting to and it sort of echoes around the room, kind of like when a stormcast talks. It sounds a bit like thunder sometimes. We've had no updates, nor have their souls returned to the forge. There's also another problem, the reforging. And before the voice continues, another voice interrupts. Lord Everos, I believe our guests are here. Hurry up. And you sort of, an Amelin sort of 2 steps it now, gets you moving up the stairs to the fit. And then you walk into a room and you see 2 fairly grandly plated Stormcast Eternals standing there. Yourselves wouldn't recognize them, but Daphos, even in your reforged state, you know who these are. And this is Lord Arcanum Everos. One of the Lord Arcanums, he's there to part of the reforging. So he works on the Anvil of Apophysis to sort of bring Stormcast Eternals back, and that is quite an important member of the Hallowed Knights. It's rare that he's seen outside of the realm of heavens, but he's here, and he's talking to Lord Celestant Artorius, who's one of the high up Lord Celestants for the Hallowed Knights and responsible for defending this part of the Hammerhal Bastion. So they kind of usher you in, and and he kind of looks over to you, Daphos, and he's Daphos, it's good to see you back on your feet. I was worried when you fell, but it's good to see you reforged and back with us.
Thank you, my lord. I have returned, and I'm keen to help however I can.
Good. It's good to hear that. Myself and Lord Arcanum Everos were discussing our current predicament. I guess you're probably all wondering why you've been summoned, but we're stretched thin, and we need a band of heroes, let's say. And I cannot think of anyone better than you, Daphos, and the Soulbound that you fight alongside. So this is a matter of the utmost importance. And he sort of like gestures to Lord Arcanum Everos, and Lord Arcanum, the table in the middle of the room lights up, and there's a map of see the realms. It's not just here in ASCII, it's all of the realms. And there's loads of dots on it, like flashing dots on it, and Lord Arturius sort of gestures and said, these are the storm keeps, and we hang on to the realms by the skin of our teeth, and the stormcast are too fuel, and Lord Sigmar in his great wisdom has prepared the Dawnbreaker Crusades, where Alelfs, Stormcast, humans, Dwarden will march out from the great bastions and civilize the lands. But to do that, we need the other gods' helps. A party of Hallowed Knights was sent to the realm of life to treat with Lady Alariel, the goddess of that realm. Just as the Hallowed Knights did so long ago in the Age of Myth and the Age of Chaos when we returned. We need to find them. They have not returned, and there's been no word of Lady Alariel's ascent to assist in this great crusade. And he kind of looks at the map and shows you sort of like Gairan. It kind of touches the map, and it kind of almost zooms in onto the realm of life now, and you can see the other half of Hammerhal, which is this twin city. It's split between life, and in the middle of Hammerhal is a gate, realm gate that goes between the two halves. Lord Castellan Werner Starhelm was charged with the duty to find Alariel. He was accompanied by some of our finest liberators. They were sent first to the cartographer here in Hammerhal ASCII to get a map to lead them. The cartographer makes special secret maps that only a special compass can lead you to and follow the map. So I'm charging you, Daphos, with your companions here, to find Lord Celestin Werner Starhelm, and if you cannot find him, treat with Lady Alariel of the Realm of Life. We need her aid.
Yes, my lord.
So he's sort of done all that little bit of spiel there and giving you the heroic thing, but he talks you through the details. So Amlin here will guide you down to the Cartographer's Guild, where you will get the map, and from there you will then travel to Hammerhal in Gairan in the Realm of Life, and where you will then set off to find Lady Alariel following the path set on the map. It is of the utmost importance this map does not fall into the enemy's hands, for it leads the way to Alaria's sacred grove, and if the enemy were to find such a location, needless to say, an alliance would no longer be possible. And he sort of rummages around. It's a bit of a chaos in there, not chaos as in chaos, but it's a bit messy in there because he's got war papers around. He's a Lord Celestin. His duty is to make sure that this section of the bastion and this section of the Great Parch is kept clear of enemies. So, but he sort of rumbles around and he pulls out this small golden, it looks like a coin, but it's a little bit bigger, sort of a medallion size. Here, Daphos, and he hands it to you, Daphos, and he says, "This is a seal of Sigmar, and this should open doors that remain closed to you at times. Use it only when necessary." And you can see it's got the sort of the hammer of Sigmar on it with a twin tail comet off the back of it, and looks very ornate, and it's got some sort of runes on it that's not common tongue, so you can't read it, but you're guessing it's sort of a language of the gods at one point. And then Everos passes you. He steps forward and he's like, "You'll also need this," and it's looks like a sort of a little bauble.
A bauble.
Yeah, it's like a bauble, little glass bauble.
Cool.
And he calls it the Light of Malleus. So he said, "This is the Light of Malleus." So it's a piece of Malleus is the big sun that's in the middle of the 8 realms. You'll need this to light the way. It'll help you read the map. and he hands it over again, also to you, Daphos, because you're a Stormcaster's Tunnel. He's not going to hand it to a dwarf that works for money and a tree or an elf. So he's handing all these items to you. So then they sort of, Lord Celestin Artorius sort of opens it up. Do you have any questions before you set off on your path?
Just want to say, man, that you're in a really bone and drag situation, but don't worry, we'll straighten this out. Yeah, we'll make sure everything's good. Yeah.
I don't have any questions, my lord, but maybe one or two other members of my party might have a question.
I've got one very important question. You see, he reaches up under his cheek guard. He's scratching at the scar tissue. He's like, coin. That's my question. What's the compensation?
Of course. I wouldn't expect any less from the vaunted warriors of the Dwarden, of the fire type, of course. Yes, I've already drawn up the contract for you, of course. And Amelin, and he gestures over, and Amelin goes and shifts through some paperwork, and she passes you a contract. And the contract is for a lot of gold, probably more than you were expecting, but something really catches your eye on there. It offers also 10 pieces of gold, i.e. that they've got guaranteed gold to give you, which obviously you're not sure how they ended up with gold and they haven't already handed over to one of you guys. But ultimately they are offering 10 gold as part of this contract. I hope that is suffice.
I can't believe you went in for the how much, man. That was really heavy and rude, but I'll take some money. Yeah, I can do it.
Elf, zip it. Grown-ups are talking.
Whoa, cool your forge, man. Yeah.
I would not
never
expect
cools.
I would expect nothing less from the elves of the Idenef Deepkin. And don't worry, Amelin, another one. And there's another contract brought over to you. And it basically guarantees the Stormcast assistance in killing certain enemies of the Order factions. So they're not offering aid against any of the Order factions, but offering aid to secure souls of fallen for you and your people. I hope that is sufficient for you as well, Master Tanzil.
Yeah, man.
When I get back, we're going to talk about why you've got 10 pieces of gold that you haven't already given over. But the contract looks good. I'm more than happy to lend my latch axe to trying to keep Dathos from getting his head caved in again.
Oh, there's far too many aggressive vibes there, man. No, just chill. We'll get the job done. Yeah, it's a bummer, but we'll get it done.
Tanzil, you make me tired. And as a Dwarden, I never get tired. But that's all right.
Are we done?
Oh, not quite, Master Tree. Amelin. And another contract turns up. This is for you, Master Ragewood. And this is for the protection of the Sacred Grove. And also, let me just flick through this. And he flicks through a couple of pages. And the rights for your people to protect the sacred lakes for the special Aqua Garanus supplies. And he hands it over to you. He doesn't know if that's trees need contracts, but
I just kind of look at it like he's handed me just some completely alien object.
Yeah,
and then kind of skewer it on one of the branches on my.
If it's made from paper, it could be a relative.
That's just what I was thinking. It's got to be one of his cousins.
No, I mean, obviously, ultimately, the Sylvaneth have maintained control of those, but we just wanted to make sure it was normalized with these Dawnbringer Crusades that you weren't going to lose control of your lands.
Yeah, it's just like skewered on top of one of my.
I mean, he saw you do that, and he was just like, I mean, that okay, sure, like that's a contract. Now, I do apologize. I hope you can embark upon your mission now, but I have some other important meetings, and I have a matter to finish with Lord Evros here. So Lady Amelin here will guide you through to the Cartographer's Guild, unless you have any further questions.
No, my lord.
Excellent. We're relying on you, Daphos, and you, Soulbound. Good luck.
Sooner done, sooner paid. Let's move out.
And Lady Amelin's like, This way then, my lords. And she sort of jaunters back down the
Lead
stairs.
the way.
She jaunters back down the stairs and leads you out the tower. And she leads you into the town. And you're making your way through Hammerhal. It's a big city. It's one of the largest, if not the largest, outside the realms of heaven. So leading you through, and you go through markets and things like that. There's all sorts of things going on, people getting about their daily business. Obviously, there's a lot of chatter about the recent battle, and you can see sort of Dwarden stonesmiths making their way towards what you were, the rough direction. It's probably towards the gap that you were holding recently. But you're making your way through the town, and you get close to the cartographer's guild, and it's a fairly grandiose building. You can see it ahead of you. It's not like sort of outlandishly big, but it's fairly big. There's nice gilding on it and like lovely sort of statues on it. But Ameline starts to slow down, and of course, up until this point, she's been jaunty and chatting away to you about your lives and everything. And for the most part, you've probably not been answering her because why would you? But you get to the cartographer's guild just outside, and she slows down and she looks at the building and she says, "That's unusual. There's normally guards posted outside." And can you all just give me an intuition test? Now, not all of you will have the intuition talent, but it's done off mind. So if you could do I think, Jim, you have got intuition as one of your talents.
No.
No, you do not.
What's the difficulty?
It's a free one.
I've got intuition. You mean skills, not talent, Jack?
Yeah, skill, sorry. Yeah. So it's just a free one. So it's just a free and one success needed.
All right.
Okay. All right. Okay. Well, you've all got some passes there. So lovely, fantastic. That's what I like to see. So Tanzil and Mr. Ragewood, you can hear sounds like a crazy man rambling in the corner. You're not really paying too much attention to him, but he's there and he's rambling and he's just chatting about, you're not really paying much attention. However, Dathos and Redhammer, with your extra successes, you can hear him. He's talking about what sounds like he's saying crazy things, but intermittently he's talking about guards and people fleeing, running through the streets. They ran through the streets. They did. Yes, I know. Yes. Oh, yeah. Oh, they run through the streets. And he's standing off quite a way, but he's obviously talking loud enough that you can hear him. He's sort of standing on an intersection that runs down an alleyway, and he's a bit crazy. What would you like to say?
I'll go over to him.
Oh, look, he's shiny. He's shiny. Isn't he shiny? Yeah, he's shiny.
Is he presenting is he garbed in the usual sort of garments for this area, or is he a disheveled homeless person?
Yeah, he looks a bit more like a disheveled homeless person. He doesn't look like he belongs.
Okay.
He's got nothing, no defining features. Long, scraggy beard, crazy sort of spiky hair, kind of like the guy you kind of expect is going to suddenly open his cloak and is going to be like selling weird, crazy things inside there, or he's going to tell you that the end is nigh. But he's shiny.
Excuse me, good person.
I'm Podge. This is Podge, and he points to the thin air next to him.
Greetings, Hodge. Greetings, Podge. Can you perhaps inform me where the guards have gone?
Oh, the guards, they went inside.
They went inside.
Yeah.
Were they running towards something or running away from something?
Oh, no, they look very busy. They were like that. They were.
Ah, right. Well,
thank
you very much.
No, Podge. No. They haven't asked that question, have they, Podge? Sorry about that.
What was the question I should ask, Podge?
Well. No,
what was Podge saying?
Well, he said you should ask about the men who ran away from the temple. It's not a temple. It's not a temple, Podge. It's a building.
Who ran away from the people, Podge?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yes, that's right, Podge. Well, Podge says that they were men dressed in cloaks. Are you sure about that? One had a tattoo of a crescent moon on his face. Odd one, that is.
Hey, dude, can we? Would you mind if we took Podge with us, man? He's got some skills there. His invisibility would be really good for a scout.
Invisibility? He's right there.
Yeah, I know, man, but he's invisible to some people. Yeah.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Oh, that explains. Oh.
Yeah, man.
Quickly recognizing that this conversation will spiral out of control very fast between these two, I will quickly say my thank yous and turn to the rest of the party.
And then as you're walking away, he goes, "Oh yeah, we didn't tell him that part, did we, Pod?"
I've gone in the building already.
Okay.
I'm going to give Pod
Just like,
elf bread.
There's about 3 of you talking there. Which one?
I'm going to give Pod some elf bread.
It just
What,
falls on the
something?
floor. Oh,
Dude.
I'll take that for Podge. Don't worry, he'll enjoy
Yeah, that'd be
that.
really good. Yeah, man.
Yeah. All that.
Grim looks at Hodge,
Yeah,
puts
it-
one blunt finger in his face and says, "What was the last bit that Podge wanted to say?"
Oh, apparently, the moon thing belongs to a gang who operate out of a place.
And the
Yeah.
gang is called, and the place is where.
What's it called, Podge? Oh, he says that's gonna cost you because that's dangerous information. That is.
So the question is it going to cost me one of your teeth or all of them?
Oh, dude, man, that's some really heavy shit going down.
Podge says he'd like to not be punched, if that's okay.
Perfectly all right. What's the name of the gang and where do they hang out? And I won't punch you or Podge.
Whoa, I'm giving you information from Podge. Don't shoot the messenger.
Podge has
Exactly.
done nothing wrong, man.
Just.
Podge, I can believe it, man.
Oh
but
no,
Podge-
I'm not sticking up for you, Podge. You can take a punch in the face, mate. Ooh.
I'll give him a drop. Is that it?
Yep.
To
A drop. Oh Lord. Oh well, they're called the Crescent Moon, and they operate out of the Dodgy
Really?
Dice Gambling Den. Yeah.
the Dodgy Dice Gambling Den.
Yeah. Makes me
Indeed.
wonder why people go in there if it's called the Dodgy Dice. It implies cheating, right? No, I know, Podge.
Certainly,
See?
yes.
You have fed me for a week with this. Thank you very much.
Well, you go find somewhere safe to be, okay? It's clearly not safe
that's
around
good,
here.
that's good idea because there was lots of people running around. And
Yeah.
as you turn around, you look back and he's gone. You're not sure where he disappeared to, but he's just vanished. He's gone, completely gone.
That was either a genuine homeless person with lots of information or a random god.
Who knows?
I don't know about you. You're
That's why we've got to be nice
gods,
to these guys. Listen, our wooden friend has already gone into the building. Perhaps one of us should be going to find this gang while we find out. Or shall we stick together?
All for one and
Hey.
one for all, man.
Well, actually, before you guys decide, let's move over to Rog because he's already gone inside. So, Roger, you've gone inside, and what greets you when you get in there is carnage. Obviously, it's a lovely looking building, star maps on all the walls. It's very ostentatious. But in this large sort of entry hall, as it were, there's bodies everywhere. Free Guild, some of them are in cloaks, and you notice one of them's got a crescent moon on their face. But there's a lot of bodies scattered all over the place. So what would you like to do?
I'm going to search the one with the crescent moon.
Okay, all right. So would you like to roll me an intuition roll? If you don't have it, obviously just roll mind.
It's a difficulty 4.
It's a difficulty 4-1, but the more successes you get, the more information you're going to get.
Just 1.
Okay. So you don't really find much on him. He's got a dagger, a couple of bits and pieces. You do find a small note, but it's not a whole note. It looks like it's part of a note, like you would put it together, and it just says compass on it.
I just then unceremoniously drop the body and continue looking around for anything that could, that we're looking for, really.
Okay. All right. Go back outside. What are you guys doing outside?
Figuring out if we should go inside or get in hot
Listen,
pursuit of the gang.
Listen,
I'm gonna-
Dathos, I think Warrior, that bloody tree is not going to be able to get it done in there. Let's stick together for now.
All right, let's go.
I'm gonna reach inside my robes and bring out my beaver, and I'm gonna put him on the floor. Yeah, Colin, man. Yeah, you make sure you're good. Yeah. He'll find things.
What just
for us.
happened?
He'll go through doors and things, man.
They walk in just as I drop the corpse.
Yeah, that'd be brilliant.
Oh man, there's no need to do that. It's really
and
impressive.
you guys are greeted by the same scene that Ragewood was just greeted with: big, large sort of entry hall, marble floors, beautiful star maps on all the walls. Understandably, this is a place that creates maps. There's two sort of staircases that sort of wrap around the room and up onto what looks like sort of almost like a gallery, so you can look down on something. And there's a big set of doors on the other side. There's a couple of desks, very ornate sort of oak. A couple of doors either side of the room. But amid this room, there's a lot of bodies. So if you guys want to have a look around, or let me know what you want to do.
Grim turns to Amelin and says, Lady Amelin, any of these people, the cartographer that we need to talk to about the map and the compass?
She's busy trying to not be sick at this exact moment in time. The way you figure it, she's never seen a dead body before, let alone about 10.
I kind of awkwardly hand the piece of note I found to Dathos. I believe they were searching for the compass.
I'll take a look at the note and
This was on that one. And I'll gesture down at the awkwardly crumpled corpse that I dropped on the floor head first.
we need to find this cartographer and we need to find him now.
Okay. Would you all like to give me intuition tests? It's a 4-1, but the more successes you get, the better it is for you.
What was intuition off again, sorry?
Mind.
Mind stats. I don't have intuition.
I succeeded with an additional success.
Yes, you did. Oh, wow. Just Jim to roll for me, though. I've got multiple people. Oh, wow. Oh, God. Right. Okay. Fantastic. Okay. So we'll sort of make our way through it. So, Ragewood, you got 1 success. So, obviously, you found the dead man with the crescent moon face on his face, and you found the note that says compass on it. What you also now see is there's 2 more men with crescent moons on their face, and when you sort of sift through their bodies, you find get the on 2 other bits of paper. You now figured out that it means get the compass. Looks like they've all been handed bits of information, so no one person sort of knew what's going on. Similar, sort of things that crime people do. For the others, you've all got 3 successes, so sort of spread this out a little bit. So Grim, you're sort of nudging bodies over with your axe and sort of having a good look and a good poke around. And as you do, one of the blades sort of clangs across the floor, blood on it. But you do notice that there's something else on the blade. And as you take a closer look, there's a patch of very coarse fur on the blade. Not like human hair, like you liken it to like an animal you'd find in the woods or something like that. It's very coarse. So not sure what's going on there. Daphos and Tanzil, obviously you two both did also very well. You see a blood trail, and actually it's not connected to any of the bodies on the floor. It's actually pulling itself away to a single door that's on the left-hand side of the room.
Head over.
Okay, and the door's there. It's locked at the moment. But I imagine I know what's about to come next.
Man. What do you think this is?
And the blood trail goes under the door.
Shall we open the door and let Colin go and see what's going on?
I think perhaps I will open the door and go and see what's going on. Not that I do not trust your... Sorry, what is it, a beaver?
Yeah, man, it's my beaver.
Apologies that I do not trust your fairy beaver, but I would like to get eyes on in the situation myself. Thank you kindly.
Yeah.
So I'll enter the room.
Okay, well, the door's locked, but you're a Stormcast Eternal. That doesn't really bother you. It comes off its hinges. And it's not a massive room. It looks like it's a storeroom for like papers and stuff like that, and inks and stuff. But the ink bottles weirdly look like they're empty, but you can almost see like a glittering in them. So you're not entirely sure what it is. However, the blood trail kind of wraps round sort of one of the stands, and as you go round, on the floor, there is a young man. He's just laying there. He's alive. He's breathing. He's not awake currently, though.
What do you reckon he's done, man? Is he the victim or is he the...
Does he have a crescent moon tattoo on his face?
No. In fact, he looks fairly well appointed. He's got robes on, sort of like, and you can see like sort of stars on like his sort of like trim of the robe.
Then I will endeavour to try and wake him.
And it doesn't take a lot to wake him. Please, no, please, don't hurt me.
Hey, man, there's going to be no hurting going on here. We've come to help.
They came.
Who came, man?
The men and something else. It was horrible.
The
men.
Oh.
They were awful.
Men can be bad, man. They've got really aggressive, like, the like the bearded ones, man. We've got one with us who calls himself Hammer. Yeah, but
and he realizes he's now like sort of come to, and he's realized he's still, and you can see he's got quite a nasty. It doesn't look like he's going to die from it unless he gets infected, which is entirely likely in this realm. But on your assessment, it doesn't look like he's going to die from it, but it's a pretty nasty scratch. He's no, please don't hurt me, sir. I'm just a student here.
Grimnir pushes by, doesn't say a word, pulls out his forge key that starts glowing. He's like, "This is gonna sting, kid," and cauterizes his wound to heal him a little bit.
Oh, and he screams! It's a wail, and you I don't think any of you have heard a wail like this come from a young man.
Whoa,
and he
man!
he faints for a moment. But shortly he comes to again shortly after. But he looks down. He's like, "Thank you. I think. Oh,
yeah,
he's not going to die now, right?"
Where is the cartographer?
I don't know. The cartographer was through in the main hall when they came.
Come with us. We need you to check the bodies to see if one of them is his.
Oh, I'm not going out there.
You must understand.
They came for the compass.
Did they get the compass, kid?
I don't know. I came in here after one of them cut me. There was lots of fighting. There was some strange noises as well.
You must identify if the compass is gone.
Yeah, how come they left you, man? Why didn't they kill you like the rest of everybody?
Well, it was confusion and the free, and because I screamed, the guards came in and they fought them. So it gave me a break, and I managed to drag myself in here, but I was cut.
I think you're involved in this, man. I think.
Oh no,
it's
I
not
don't
a
know.
job.
He's genuinely like sobbing, crying down his face now. Like he's like, "Oh, I've worked my entire life to get into the guild." The compass it's really important because they were after the cartographer's compass. They said, "Get the big person's compass," and I think that meant the cartographer. They're really important, the compasses.
Yes, we are aware, and great things are afoot that can affect all of us in the most hazardous of ways. Please come with us into the other room before I pick you up and take you.
I pick him up.
No,
Never mind.
He's like, you've yoinked him up, and he's flailing at you, like trying to like get down.
Yeah, I mean, my arms are far too long for that to be a problem.
Yeah.
I literally just walk him into the other room.
Okay, so you're walking back into the main chamber, and of course,
kind of point him around.
His general sobbing turns into absolute bawling. And at this point, like Amelyn's sort of regathered herself, and she's like, "What are you doing? He works here. He's wearing a cartographer's outfit.
He is not being damaged."
Okay. Well, he's one of the cartographer guild.
Yeah, man. There's something.
Is the cartographer here?
Oh, no, I can't see. And I'm guessing you've all turned the bodies so they're face up, so he's actually able to look at them.
Yes.
I mean, he vomits a couple of times because, again, He's in a line of work that he should never see a dead body, especially ones with like bits and pieces hanging off of them and hanging out of them. But no, the cartographer's not here. But the cartographer wasn't in this room. They were through there. And he points to the big, very ornate doors. And actually, when you look at these doors, they're not just like beautiful oak doors. They've been carved. And when you sort of get a closer look at them, they've got the realms on them.
I just walked through.
Of course you do. You just walk straight through. Just all right. So the doors, and it's like big. You know that sort of big noise that a big wooden oak doors
big
sort of
creaky.
Yeah. And the scene in here is very much the same, except for obviously how the room looks. So the room, looks like the production room. This is where they make the maps. And there's 6 large oak tables, and some of them are shining, sort of a bit like the table that you saw in the room with the Lord Celestin. So it's big, and some of them have still got parchment on them. Some of them got partially drawn maps on them. But as you're looking at them, the maps are fading, disappearing into nothingness. There's some ink spilt out on the table, and again it's just fading away into nothingness. There's an odd glitter to it, but other than that there's not. There's again more bodies, a couple of free guild guards, sort of that you see them in their Hammerhal outfits. They were here obviously guarding, and then sort of the back end of the room there's another set of 2 doors, and he gestured that's her office, but she was in here. And you can see now above you those big stairs led to a viewing gallery, so guessing people can come in and watch the maps being drawn and stuff like that for very special maps and so on and so forth. So what would you like to do in this room?
Is the cartographer here?
And again, you're turning over bodies and no, they're not here.
I will walk into the cartographer's room.
So as you do, you hear a noise off to your right hand side.
I'll look and see if I can spot what it is.
You see a foot nudging on the floor. It's like sort of twitching.
I kind of put the student down and drag the foot.
And there's blood sort of pouring out this bloke's mouth. He's a free guild guard. He's dressed in Hammerhal garb.
Grim, this one is damaged.
Get out of the way, tree.
Grim, you look at him. There's no way. Not even your powers can save him. He's well beyond the point of saving.
Maybe we could get something out of him before he dies, though, man.
And he puts his hand. Grim, you've got the closest now. So they took her. And he's like spluttering blood up everywhere, and like you can tell he's on the ebb. He's about to kick off. Tanzil, you're preparing a special device that's going to capture his soul, because that's what your people do. They took her, and he kind of like, you look, and in blood on the floor there's an arrow, and as you look down from the arrow, there's a hole in the floor leading into what appears to be a tunnel.
You did good, human.
And as you say that, he just, as you halfway through your speech, he just,
right. You guys you're all too fragile. And then Grim will jump down in the hole.
Okay. But Grim's jumped down in the tunnel. Is anyone else doing anything else in this room before?
Yeah, I shall close the device when it is filled, and I shall put it back.
Yeah.
I'll ask the student, does the cartographer keep the compass on them?
Yes, the cartographer does, or in her office, in her lockbox. I guess is the only way to call it.
Can you open the lockbox?
Nobody can open the lockbox except for the cartographer herself.
I walk into the room and look for the lockbox to see if it has been opened.
Okay. So the lockbox, you can't open it.
No, it hasn't been opened, or does it?
No, it's not opened. It's nothing. It's solid locked. It's not.
Okay, so they either have the compass or they don't, but we need the cartographer to open it.
That is correct.
Okay, then I will step outside and jump down the hole.
So don't want to look at anything else in the office or anything like that.
I'm going to have a search round.
Yeah, okay. Give me an intuition test, please.
Was there anything else we were looking for here, or was it just the cartographer?
No, it's just the cartographer and the map and whatnot. but this is her office, so this is quite
Oh
unique.
no, single-minded hunting here, so down the hole.
I'll follow him down the hole.
Okay, Tanzil, excellent. That's a good roll. So Tanzil, you got 2 successes. So you're looking around the room. In this office, it's a very nice office. There's lots of what look like weird artifacts and stuff on the wall, and there's a few things that draw your eye. And you're looking over it, and as you're moving around the room, something almost burns your hand. And as you look at it, you're not entirely sure what it is, but you've definitely seen it. It looks like the stuff that Red Hammer has hammered into his skin. So potentially something very important to Red Hammer. You also notice a hanging on the wall is a beautiful sea dragon cloak. So it's a cloak made of sea dragon scales. These are fairly rare, and it's quite big. It looks like it's probably meant for someone, a big warrior, to be attached to their sort of shoulders, as it were. You also find a small vial of silvery oil. It's a very unusual oil. You're not entirely sure what it is, but it smells to you as you give it a whiff. Ooh, it smells a bit rough, but it also smells a bit like a tree. And then finally, in her desk, sort of top drawer, there's a load of pendants in there, very load of light pendants in there. But one of them you recognize, and it's an Ideneth pendant. It's a very important Ideneth pendant as well. It's a holy symbol for your people. Of a time, it reminds them of a time that they were created by a god who then tried to destroy them. And you know, so what would you like to do with all these items that you found?
I'm going to stick the cloak on. I'm going to.
It feels very heavy on you.
Yeah. Bummer. I'm gonna keep the pendant. What does the cloak look like? It'd be better on Dathos.
Well, as you put it on your shoulders, there's loads of excess sort of towards your feet, which suggests someone taller than you.
Yeah.
But obviously, these are her artifacts. This is her like cool stuff she's gathered over time being the cartographer.
So I'm going to go down the hole with this gear, and then I'm going to go up to Dathos. And I'm going to hand him over the cloak. I'm going to give the silvery oil to the tree.
Okay. So Roger, you instantly recognize this as ironbark oil. It's a special oil for Sylvaneth only. You're not even sure how Tanzil's got hold of this, because this stuff's rare and really important to your people. But it's got 3 uses in it. In terms of it, we can get it on your data sheet later. But in terms of what it does, is you put it on your body and it gives you a +1 to your armor for a period of time. Dan, the sea dragon cloak, you know that these are used by the corsairs from the dark, essentially what is now the dark elves, but elves who patrol the seas on behalf of the many city states. They're barely short of pirates, but they work for the good side. But you've seen them wear these cloaks before, but it's clearly been made for a Stormcast Eternal in mind, because it's very large, or an exceptionally large elf. And for purposes, it will give you +1 defense against any shooting attacks, because the Sea Dragon cloaks, they use them to wrap around their bodies to protect them from ranged weapons. For you, Jim, the pendant you just picked up is, like I said, it's a holy symbol. It's of a time to remind your people of the evils of the magic of Teclis himself. And it will give you 1 free dispel per combat counter. So if you come up against wizards, you'll get a free dispel to just auto dispel something. But it takes time to sort of rebuild its charge. So it's once per combat session. Did you give the last thing that you picked up to someone?
You know, I've been around a long time, and you know, I've dealt with many races. You know, as a emissary and a diplomat, man. But you know, that's why I've got these things. And you know, Dathos, I'd like you to use it, man. It's yours. Consider it a present. I don't expect anything back. Maybe a favour in the future, man. And same to you. What's your name again, Mr. Wood?
Boris.
Borry. Yeah, well, yeah. Is that your second name, or you like me? You just call yourself one really cool hype name.
My full name is too long. You may call me Borre, Ragewood, or Borre.
Oh man, I'll just call you Borre because the second name has some really like heavy consequences, to it. But yeah, consider it, yours. I'll give that.
And did you pick up the thing that nearly burnt you?
Yeah, Mr. Angry. Yeah, I got something for you. It's not going to cost you, dude, but consider it a favor. Yeah, I've been here, there, and everywhere, and I know my stuff, but I'll pull that out and I'll give it to him.
I love how you're claiming that you've just stolen all this stuff from the cartographer's office. It's cool. Aaron, you instantly recognize this as a rune of searing heat. Once again, you're how has someone got an Urgold rune? You're not entirely sure, but it's been handed to you.
Yeah, Grim. I mean, it's a present, man, but consider it that, if I need a favor in the future, I can call on it. Yeah.
I'm in your debt. You need a favor. You have my axe. You have given me back part of the body of Grimnir, and I am indebted to you.
Yeah, man. Well, like I say, I've been here, many conversations and parlays, and the gifts are aplenty. So I'm a generous man, generous elf even. Yeah.
Indeed.
The tunnel's long, but it's fairly dark. Tanzil, this doesn't seem to bother you. You've got night vision, so you really don't care how dark it is in there. The rest of you, it gets very dark down there. It seems one track. There doesn't seem to be any turn-offs or anything like that. It clearly was, looking at the walls. Grim, you can definitely tell this because you're a Dwarden, and even if you're not of the classic Dwardens of you still make your homes in the mountains and digging it out and whatnot. You can tell that this was dug in the direction of the Cartographers Guild. So this was a purposely dug tunnel. Something is got in specifically. But let's go exploring, I guess. Ameline, of course, has not come down with you, and you can hear her trying to console as you're walking away down the tunnel. You can kind of hear her in the back trying to console the sobbing and very traumatized student who definitely did not enjoy being carried around by a tree. So what would you like to do, gentlemen?
Follow the path and try and track them back to where they came from.
Okay. I mean, so in terms of light and being able to see, there's not a lot. But Dathos, on your hip, something starts to glow.
I will check to see what it is. Is it the light?
It is the light of Malleus. The light of Malleus is glowing with a very sort of, it feels dim, but it seems to be lighting up to a sufficient standard that you can see a good amount. It's not making it super bright by any stretch of the imagination, but enough that you can guide your way through the tunnel and make your way along. And the tunnel changes in size as you go through. Gets bit tight at some points. Obviously, fine for Grim, he's not down, but for the giant tree and a giant stormcaster tunnel, it gets really tight at a few points. And you're making your way down. And then I'm just going to roll a dice quickly, and then I'm going to ask you to tell me what your natural initiative is. So on the combat, you should have something called natural awareness, and it'll tell you what your score is.
Natural 1.
If anyone else has got natural
Natural what? Sorry.
Natural awareness. So on your combat page, you'll see it. It's just below initiative. It's called natural awareness.
1.
I've got combat ready.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
Is it the first number or second number?
It's the second number.
2.
Okay. Excellent. So you don't notice anything. You keep on walking. And you're making your way a bit further down, and every now and again, Boreal, you think you hear the odd scraping and scratching, but every time you turn to look at it or turn to sort of focus on where you think the noise is coming from, you never see anything. Now I know all of your things. Okay, so as you're making your way a bit further down, again, the rest of you are oblivious, but Boreal, you've really been tuning into this scrippity scrappy every now and again, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, bursting from the wall, almost it seems, it tries to catch you off guard, but it clearly doesn't. There's what looks like a giant rat. You've never seen anything like this before. It's a giant rat, and it's just leapt out of the wall. And we are in initiative. So if you can all tell me your initiative, please.
I have a very poor initiative. I remember this.
5.
Oh no.
So,
Where's our initiative?
2.
it's in combat, and there's a you'll see it says
I've got 2 and 6, whatever that is.
so yours is 6, so 2 is what your initiative is normally, but because of talents and otherwise you have a higher stat, so you are 6. Sorry, what was yours, Roger?
5.
And Dathos?
2.
And Red Hammer.
Like all great Duarden, mine is also 2.
Well, these guys are bursting around with speed. It's hard for you to tell because they don't attack you outright. It looks like they're trying to gauge your defensive sort of abilities and whatnot. But they're fast. Tanzil and Ragewood, you or Boreal, you both can see them quite clearly. You're obviously trained. You sort of Tanzil, you know what these are. You've been around, and they're quite often they're quite common attacking the underneath your enclaves under the sea. And they're one of the few races who had the ability to sort of dig underground. It's a Skaven, but not any old Skaven. These are gutter runners. So they're fast, stealthy, and stabby. And they now know they're there. One of them slipped, and that's what sort of gave Ragewood the so that's why they've attacked. So you can hear them like jumping from the walls and stuff. So going into initiative order, Tanzil, you are first. You also got combat ready, so it stops you from being ambushed. But they are running around. But one of them you can see him sort of leaping off the walls, and you can time it. You think you can get into combat with one of them if you run into a space, but it is your turn to decide to do what you want to do.
I'm gonna pull out Boom Shankar, my health saber, and I'm gonna smash one of them.
Okay, excellent. So roll me an attack, please. So they have average defense. So when you bring up your Hellsaber for an attack, it'll ask you what your opponent's defense is.
Target defense, average.
Yeah.
Okay.
And roll your dice, sir. Excellent. So you have a focus available to you, so you can turn one of those 2s into a. You can turn one of those 2s into a 3.
Okay.
And that'll give you another success.
Okay.
So what's your blade? So it's damage 3. That'll take you to damage 4. What we got here? Okay, all right, yeah. That the rat squeals. No! And he kind of like he looks pretty banged up. There's a lot of splattering and spluttering and all sorts of bits and pieces are sort of gooing out everywhere. But he seems to be still standing up. Now because obviously. It's almost like Dan, the Dathos. It almost like it reacts to this moment. The light of Malleus brightens up. So it's almost like it registered you were trying to stay a little bit stealthy. It's almost attuned to your sort of ebb and flow of your feelings. Obviously, you've moved now into a combat ready status. It's lit up, and you can see that there are 6 large rats with cloaks and daggers and all sorts of things bouncing around the walls around you. So next we go to Mr. Ragewood.
Can I get in combat?
Sorry. Yeah, absolutely. It's quite. You're fighting in a tunnel. It's tight confines. Why this is a slightly wider point of the tunnel? It's not big by any imagination. It's literally you're standing in one zone. They're sort of dancing around in a zone in front and behind you. But it's very easy to move forward and backwards. They can't retreat into the side walls or anything like that. So there's 2 currently standing in front of you and 3 standing behind you. I say standing, leaping backwards and forwards. They're not standing still because they're natural running around.
Can I use both my focus to up the 4 to a 6?
You can indeed. Oof.
How do I up that?
So left click on it twice.
I've done that and it's got a little 2. But...
Sorry, yeah, and then when you right click on it, and then say apply focus, and it should change the focus.
Yeah, there it is.
There we go. So excellent. So I assume you went for the pack of 3 that were behind.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, okay, right. So I mean, so this you see him bouncing around, and of course you know your martial memories kick in. You're a conditioned warrior of your people, and as one of them leaps, you bring your scythe round and literally take its head clean off. The other 2 are leaping at the same time, kind of try to turn in the air and use their tail to change their balance. You catch both of them as they're sort of coming under your blade. They're still alive, but again, they're squealing. No, tree, oh, run away, run, flee. So yeah,
and I activate Bulwark.
And you use your metal to activate Bulwark. Excellent. Well, they've got in underneath your attack, so they unsurprisingly are now going to attack you. And then the other 2 will attack on the other side. So your defense. What's your defense at this point? And then
it becomes 4.
So it becomes level 4. That's fine. 4. Good. Okay. Roll. Oh. Okay. I'm sorry, everybody. That's my first roll of the evening. Oof. You can hear it. Oof. Okay. So you're gonna take
3
damage, and then damage by this weapon must take a. So you need to take a fortitude test now, which is body. If you don't have fortitude.
Good question. Oh, I do have fortitude.
Okay, roll out. It's a 4-2. Excellent. You're fine. Basically, what happened? If you fail that, you'll get poisoned. And then the second rat is also going to swing at you. And he just does the 2 damage, because you've got armor, haven't you? Mm-hmm. Armor 2, haven't you? Yeah, so you're fine. You don't take any damage, and you only have to do that damage. You only have to do that roll for fortitude if you actually take damage from their weapon. Okay, the 2 rats at the front who are fairly healthy. One of them obviously is now in. One is in. Well, they're not 2 of them are healthy. One of them's healthy. One of them's not. One of them, the one in combat with you, Tanzil, is going to attack you.
Okay.
Let's go.
I had got natural awareness, by the way. I've found it.
Yeah, you should. Your defense is great. I know it is because I've got your. So he's going to attack you. He does not attack. He does not hit you.
Where is my defense?
Your defense. So on the combat page at the very top.
Yeah.
You see, you got a little hammer, a little target, and a little shield. The little shield is your defense.
Yeah. Right.
Oh, does he not hit for 2 damage?
He does hit for 2 damage, but like you, the Achillean emissary has 2 armor, so doesn't take any damage. And then the other one with the punch dagger, he spots the Dwarden, and of course, there's always a bit of ancient enmity between the Dwarden and the Skaven. So he dashes forward to attack the Dwarden. What's your defense?
Average.
Oh yeah, good. Oh. Apparently, he was so excited about attacking you. He completely wildly missed. It's.
He was very excited, wasn't he?
Was very excited, which then now brings us to the back end of our Daphos or Redhammer. Which one of you would like to go first?
I think Grim is going to strike right out at this Skaven who attacked him.
Yeah.
It's like, Bloody rat. And I'm going to spend 1 point of metal to double my training dice on this
Ooh,
attack.
Yeah, okay. Okay, their defense is average.
Okay.
Jesus.
Um,
I
He
will spend,
summoned Hagen.
yeah,
I will
I
apply
mean,
my focus to make that 1/5 a 6.
okay. Well, I mean, he was dead already, but see, he kind of stabs at you, and Grimnir himself must have been protecting you because nothing even landed on your skin. And you just kind of laugh and bring your axe up and round and down. And for a second, he looks like he's still ready to attack. And then it registers that he's dead. And it like that falls in half, and there's bits and pieces everywhere. It's not a very pretty or nice smelling sight, but he is very, very, very dead.
Skaven smell worse on the inside than the outside. Get busy, friends.
That takes us to Dathos.
I will take a swing at whatever's left.
There are currently 2 rats by Ragewood and 1 rat by Tanzil.
Okay. So there are still more than 2. So guts, combat, quest of warblade, and their target defense was what? Sorry.
Average.
Cool. Roll.
Excellent. Yep. I mean, again, you've got a focus point. You could turn one of those 2s into a 3, but it's not required. They've only got armor 1. And with those successes, one of those rats that was fighting Ragewood is cut to little pieces.
I will also activate Bulwark.
I mean,
if there's enough enemies left. Because there's going to be 2 or more.
Yeah, it's going to be 2 more. No, there isn't.
So
don't forget, you can use metal to fight a second time.
I might do that then.
Yeah, because there's one rat now behind you fighting Tanzil, and you can hear the elf swishing his blade around. And then there's one more now in base contact with you and Ragewood. And he looks like he's trying to make his way to Scarpa because 2 large things.
I'll have him then, and I'll spend the metal to do that.
Okay, just swing again then.
3 additional successes. On focus available, so I'll upgrade 1.
Yeah, well, needless to say, you had already killed him, but that's fine. That rat, he was very busy trying to punch. He's the one that actually landed the blow on Ragewood, and he was too busy like, ha ha ha, I've got it. He didn't really realize that his mate had just died, and he kind of looked to the left and saw you coming. Was like, oh, and went to Scarpa, but before he could, you just took his head clean off, and it kind of rolls and lands on Ragewood's foot, and there's a bit of goo on Ragewood's foot now. And that puts us back to the top of the chart with Tanzil and initiative 6. That rat in front of you, he's bricking it. He looks like he's about to dash and run. Jim?
Yes, sorry.
That's fine. 1 rat left in front of you. All the others are dead.
He's going to get smashed. Oh, totally.
Okay, fair enough. I mean, that would have been enough to kill him if he was fresh and healthy, but you'd managed to catch him last time pretty nastily. He was too busy trying to sort of roll his guts back in as they were falling out from your last cut that your blade just comes along, cleaves him from his shoulder here right through, and he's like, ah, 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 and his top half falls off, trying to gather up the guts already that were falling out, and he dies and sort of slops across the floor. The tunnel right now is enclosed. It does not smell pretty. There are 5 dead, fairly large rats at your feet. Tanzil, you'll probably take the time to open up your little jar to steal their souls as they're escaping again. But that's it. The encounter is over, and you kind of look around. You're obviously a bit nervous now because they seem to appear out of the very darkness itself. You're obviously calming down, Daphos, because the light is starting to fade back down to sort of the nominal level, but it stayed a little bit brighter this time. And again, I think it's because it's registering your feelings about these rats appearing out of the darkness. But you sort of carry on, and there's sort of no more issues as you're sort of making your way down. But as you're making your way down, and you can see now there's a light down the tunnel, an eerie green light down the tunnel. And as you're getting closer, you can hear some voices. Ah, yes, of course we have. Yes, we got the map. Yes. Oh, yes, we do have the map. Yes, yes, but it doesn't work. Nothing on it. How does it work? Look, you need the compass to make it work. Oh, you can make it work. You drew it. Yes. Oh, the Lord. Oh, Great Horn Rat will be very pleased with this. Yes. And you can hear this sort of conversation going on, and then all of a sudden, one of them, you hear a scream. Ah! It's a human scream. It's very much a human scream. Oh, yes, we took the little toe. Yes. More toes you'll lose if you do not tell us how to make the map work. You're not sure what you're running into, but it doesn't sound great.
Yeah, full steam ahead.
Time to get to work.
Okay, so you're round the corner, and what is around the corner is probably a little bit more than you were expecting. There's a lot of rats around here. You would probably argue, in your mind, you're probably thinking, oh, that's actually more than we were expecting. There's like maybe 20 there. You're not entirely sure to begin with because there's loads of them. But at the very front, there is a particularly large, thick, black-furred rat. You're guessing he's the leader because he's the one at the front talking with another sort of rat about the map, and by the what you can now see is a human sort of tied up to a very sort of hashily quickly put together like cross type thing that they've tied it to, and her foot, you can see her foot's clearly out and it's bleeding, and he's like, yes, take toes, fingers they need to make the map work. They haven't noticed you round the corner yet because they're all looking, and you'll all get an attack of opportunity before they realize you're there, because while you have stormed around the corner, they're all too busy looking at this torture scene. All the rats seem very interested in this torture scene. So standing ahead of you for combat purposes, there are 3 swarms of clan rats directly in front of you, with another 4 swarms of clan rats directly in front of that.
And there's the big one at the front.
There's a big one at the front.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm gonna
Which
charge
one's near
through.
the human?
The big one at the front is near the human.
Kapla.
So we'll go with the initiative order. So Tanzel's at the top. So Tanzel, you get to act first.
Okay, what's his defense?
So you've got, like I said, the swarms are very much in your way. You're not going to be able to get to the big guy unless you brought Ely McElison down with you as well, and you ride over the top of them. But
Yeah, we'll do that.
yeah, so mount. You figured you were going into combat, so you've mounted up before you've gone around the corner. You're on the eel. You essentially can fly. You can move over them. The Fangmore eel moves fast enough to move 2 zones, so you can essentially charge and fight him by getting over the top.
Can I give him a bio?
You can indeed do your biovoltic blast.
Okay.
By the way, Jim, Techless Homeboy just gave you a reroll, and just in case things go badly.
Right.
So how do I use that?
It's just there. So it's just a talent. So it's there. So biovoltic blast. When you use it, they don't get any armor against you, and they gain the stunned thing from the first round. Okay. So you're gonna go gallivanting over the top and charge into him.
Yeah.
Okay. So because you've charged, your defense step drops by 1. But you've gained +1 defense because you're mounted, I think. Remember off the top of my head.
Plus you get +1 d6 in the attack, right? When you charge.
Yeah. So
where
do I put that?
So when you do your attack, there should be bonus dice. So put 1 in there.
Yes. Yeah.
But your target defense, so what you're striking against, is superb. So it's 5 on the chart.
Oh, re-roll.
Thanks to Techless Homeboy.
Yep. Oh, there we go.
Nice.
There we go. Okay. So
You could even
turn
turn
off-
one of those 4s into another one.
Yeah, because you got the focus. You could give yourself another. You can give yourself another one to make it
Yeah.
damage 6.
Yeah, we'll do
And
that.
of course, you've cancelled you've done your biovoltic blast. So he's
What does my pendant do again?
it allows you to dispel a spell that
Oh,
gets
that's it,
directed
yeah.
to you or your group. It's an automatic dispel once per combat. So yeah, you fly over and like no one was expecting this. All these rats are looking at this torture scene and looking at their boss like sort of chopping off little toes and stuff. None of them see this massive eel that flies over the top of them and just goes crashing into their boss. And there is a big old squirrel. You hurt him because you were able to ignore his armor. But he is still standing. He's not down. But he is not happy bunny. That's for certain. Ragewood, go. What are you doing?
Couldn't he use his metal to attack again?
Yes, he can use his metal to attack again. He won't get biovoltic blast on the metal attack. It literally is for the first attack when you charge. So, but if you'd like to use your metal, you're welcome to do so.
Yeah, please, yeah.
Yeah.
That's it.
So attack it again.
Okay. So I don't get a +1, do I?
No, you don't get a +1. It's just a normal attack now at this point.
Okay. And his armor is superb, yeah?
Yeah, superb. Okay, so it's damage 2, because obviously your biovoltic blast doesn't apply now. He has armor 2. So your first attack was devastating, but as you bring your blade back round, he's obviously regained quite quickly, and he blocks it with his sword. And there's a big old clang, which is also continuing to distract the rest of the rats, while you, the rest of you, can do your quick out combat. So directly in front of you, Roger, it is 3 swarms of 5. So it's basically 15 rats in front of you, each in the swarm.
Okay, I will charge one of them.
Crack on.
So I get +1 dice for charging, don't I?
Yeah, but your defense rate drops by 1.
And what's their defense for a clan rat?
Their defense for a clan rat is poor. Okay. Yep. So unsurprisingly, you once again with your giant scythe, which is extremely deadly. They're almost the exact same height. They've lined up for you, and as you bring your scythe across, you just behead all of them at once. Literally, their heads just and the thump of heads makes the next 2 sort of swarms of clan rats all of a sudden, but not quick enough to dodge the fact that there is now a giant silver person and a very angry red bearded person. Sorry, you're about to do something else, aren't you?
I'm about to say, can I use metal to swing again at the next
one ahead of you or to the side of you?
Yes, ahead of me. Why not?
Yeah,
Moving
ahead
towards
of
the objective.
Yeah. Go for it.
And I don't count as charging anymore, do I?
No, you don't count as charging now. Back to a normal attack. You still have the -1 defense step though.
Yeah, that's fine.
Excellent. Yeah. Again, this one they turn around because obviously they've heard the heads thud. One of them got hit in the back by one of the heads. They're sort of a bit more alert to it now. So they tried to put up a valiant defense with their little rusty spears, but it doesn't do anything. And you happily, it's almost like you're just enjoying yourself. It's like you're imagining walking around a field, cutting a load of sunflowers down as you're siphoning, back to the old days before you had to fight wars all the time. But again, there's arms falling on the floor, there's heads rolling around, a couple of them lose some legs as you're swinging around, but they are all dead. That's 5 dead Skaven. And that is two of the 7 swarms down. And we move on to Ragewood or Dathos, whichever one would like to go first.
Oh, you mean Red Hammer?
That's what I meant.
Yeah, Red Hammer.
Red Hammer.
I was going to say, I get to go again. That seems a bit overpowered.
So Grim, you see his voice just rings out and it sounds like boulders just crushing together as he says, "By Grimnir, for the Soulbound," and he enacts runic empowerment, giving everyone +1 armor.
Yay! I love that
And there
power.
goes my chances of doing anything to you.
+1 armor. I'm going to put that in my little box. There we go. Haha, now try and hit me.
All right. Well, Daphos. Red Hammer. Are you doing anything else, or is that what you're doing? Is that
That's
the
it.
thing?
That was O took his action and 1 point
Yeah.
of metal to do so.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So we move over to Daphos then. Daphos, there are 2 swarms of clan rats ahead of you.
Will it take a point of metal to activate heroic challenge to the big boss guy?
No, I think it's a free thing you get to do, isn't it? I don't think it's a. If I remember rightly,
Then
for that talent.
I'm going to point my blade towards this rat-like abomination and challenge it to single-handed combat in the name of Sigmar.
Oh, he's currently got one arm up, holding the blade off from an elf, and he sees you do that, and he's like, "Oh, you want to fight shifty backstabber, do you? Oh, yes, you'll run, flee, you will. I will kill you. But I've got to kill the elf first."
So if he's not attacking me, he's at minuses, because if he doesn't,
he's 2 zones away from you, so he can't attack you, and he is in a fight currently. But so what did they do? -1 to his attacking.
I was just trying to find it.
It should be in your talents.
Yeah. You call a challenge to one of your enemies demanding to face you. As an action, choose a creature with a medium range. If the creature attacks any target other than you, its melee and accuracy decreased by 1 step.
Yeah.
If the target is a spellcaster, the complexity of any defensive spell that do not target you or your zone increases by 1 additional thing.
Okay, excellent. Right, that's fine. So he basically goes down 1 step in melee. That's fine.
Cool.
That might just save Jim's life.
Excellent. Here to help. And then I will take.
That was your action.
Does that count as an action?
Does it count as an action?
Yeah, you said when you read it, it's an action.
Okay, yeah.
So can I spend a point of metal to do something else? Or
yeah, you can absolutely can. Yep.
All right, I will spend a point of metal to raise Bulwark.
Excellent. Yeah. That's a sound.
Are you in the same zone?
Yeah. So the first zone, you're all in the first zone with the first set of rats. So that you're all in that zone. Then there was another zone filled with another row of rats, and then beyond that was the last zone with the cartographer wrapped up, and obviously the big stabby man. So we go into initiative. Tanzil, you are caught completely off guard by the fact this rat is considerably faster than you are, and he is going to attack you.
Oh, I figure I've got a +1 armor and he's got minus dice.
Yeah,
yeah. But you got +1 to your armor, but not your defense.
Yeah. So your defense is currently great, isn't it? But you charge, so it goes down to good for one step.
I don't want to get 1 for being mounted.
No, you get +1 to your attack for being mounted.
Right, okay.
Yeah, I double checked that because I couldn't remember off the top of my head. But thankfully, he has to attack you and not the Stormcast that just challenged him. So he is dropped down at a set.
Shit.
Oh, oh no, he can. He's going to apply those.
2 of those, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so he's just done 5 damage to you, but you have got armor 3 at the moment.
Yeah.
So your toughness drops by only 2. So on your combat page you'll see toughness. It's towards the top by the shield underneath. Yeah. Just lower that by 2. That's the damage you've just taken.
Oof. Okay.
And he's going to spend a point of metal and do it again.
Oh, crikey!
For another 5 points of damage. So you take another 2 points of damage off your toughness. And he laughs at you as he does it. Yes, cut you up, I will. And then we move on to the next thing. So Tanzil, it is now you in the fight.
Can I give him another biovoltaic blast?
No, so you can only use biovoltaic blast once per sort of combat, as it were, because it's got recharge. Basically, it's from your ill. Your ill moving around recharges it, so it's basically once per sort of combat encounter.
Righty-tighty, I'm going to smash it.
Yeah, you're just fighting normal now.
Grim is thinking to himself, for such a peace-loving elf, he sure hits hard.
He has got defense superb, though. So you could spend your metal to up your
training.
Yeah, double your training. So, Jim, sorry, I totally forgot to tell you. You regain your metal every turn it comes around. So at the beginning of the sort of comp each turn, you regain 1 metal.
I didn't roll that, by the way. I did that by accident.
That's fine.
Yeah, sorry.
It's fine. You roll away if you want to roll again.
Yeah,
I'm happy to accept that
I
as a
was
result.
doing the double training. That's what I meant.
Oh, right. Yeah. Okay.
So
yeah, you should be able to tick a box when you open up, when you do the thing. It should allow you to.
Yeah. Oh, even worse.
Well, you can up you can up one of those 4s to a 5, so you can get another one, which will give you a point of damage, which will mean he will take a point of damage.
Okay, cool.
Oh no! That hurt. But
man,
he's
still big.
He's still standing. He's doesn't appear to be going down anytime soon.
Oh
shit. But yeah, so but that goes on. Okay, so who is next? Is it the rest of the rats, or is it our good friend Ragewood? Let's have a look, shall we? It is Mr. Ragewood. You are next, sir. So you've got no rats in front of you currently, because you've kind of stepped forward, cut one up, step forward, cut another one up. So ahead of you is now Stabby. That shifty backstabber is now ahead of you.
Yeah, but the Stormcast challenged him to a 1-on-1, so
in which case
there is a bit dishonourable.
To your right there are rats, and to your left there are rats, and behind you there are rats. There's rats all around you. You seem to find yourself.
Oh, I'll just go right and just start hacking.
Fine. Sorry, everyone. I forgot a bit of a chesty cough at the moment. I thought it was going to stay good for me tonight, but it's attacking me. Roll away, sir. What is wrong with you? What is wrong with you? Yes, unsurprisingly, once again, the giant tree cuts all the poor little rats. I mean, what do these rats ever do to you? Again, dead rats everywhere. It's not even fair. Even you feel bad about it right now, Rage. These rats are squeaking.
How many swarms of them are left?
So as you've turned to fight one, there's 2 swarms directly behind you and 2 swarms sort of over your right shoulder, engaged with Dathos.
All right, I've killed 3 of them, so I'll put up Bulwark, I think.
Yeah. Okay. Well, they go next because obviously they are slightly faster than a slow dwarf or a slow stormcast. So the 2 lots that are in combat with you, Dathos. So your what's your defense now? You've got Bulwark on. Is it great? I feel like it's great.
I believe it is great. Yes.
Yeah. Okay, that's fine. Body 5 bonus dice.
And he only has 19 armor.
Yeah, I was going to say they actually, got a bit of extra in there. It doesn't matter though, because I'm pretty sure you're armor 4 right now, aren't you?
I am armor 4. Thank you for asking. Yes.
So all these little spears, they almost look like an organized rabble. They're sort of
I love that dwarf power.
I don't.
I love it.
So all these little spears, they're sort of jabbing up towards you, and they're just, you almost let them hit your armor because you feel fanciful. You got your shield there, and they're just kind of tinging off you, and you think, oh, this is not very scary. But the second batch will attack you as well, and they also do nothing to you. It's excellent. And then there is a unit. There's a swarm just behind you, Roger. So they are going to attack you. Your Bulwark can apply because there's 5 of them.
I was going to say, would 5s miss a great defense? Isn't that 4s?
No, because they're poor.
Oh, do they get?
They've got
penalties?
poor, so basically because they're free, they're 3 steps below.
I'll nod and smile. Carry on.
Yeah. I forgot to put my bonus dice on. Sorry, let me roll that again. But I won't put all my bonus dice on there because your defense is great now, is it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, thought so. Let me just put that. I'll take those 2 dice off. There we go. That's the rest of them. Cool. Nothing happens to you. And the other unit's going to sort of like run around to also engage you, Roger, because you're a big tree and you're scary. But I doubt they're going to do anything either because swarms. Yeah, there we go. So lots of stabbing, lots of sort of hitting bark and hitting armor, but it's very ineffective to say the least. But Shifty, so it's back to Shifty now. And he kind of he gets out this vial of, you don't know what it is, but he throws it at the wall behind you, Tanzil, kind of smashes on the wall.
Yeah.
There is a god awful smell now in the tunnel. You're not sure.
Don't Dathos and I get to go first before?
Oh
he
yeah, of
goes
course.
again?
It's because
Yeah, good point.
I'm like, we are really slow.
Valid point. I got so excited.
I was so relaxed from the lack of damage, I'd forgotten to take my turn.
Yeah, exactly.
So slow, it's only once every other round.
Okay. Yeah, that's exactly how slow you are. Sorry, Dathos. Or Red Hammer.
After Red Hammer.
So Grim will he'll use his movement to run up and engage one of the swarms next to Dathos.
Whack away.
And with my free action, I spend my point of metal to maintain the runic empowerment.
Yep.
And then I will swing away with the old latch axe. And I will spend my last point of metal to. No, I won't. I'll just leave it alone for now.
Yeah, I mean, they've got poor defense and no armor. They're fairly easy to put down. They're only swarms.
Poor defense. Come on. There we go.
Yep, they are the swarm. So they were very busy stabbing at Dathos that they didn't even they totally forgot that there was a dwarf just behind him. And you've come in, and one was like, hee hee hee. And you just happily, and you just kind of like wade into them, and you sort of step back to admire your work. And there's not even it's almost mush now. They're not even like distinguishable body parts. You really went to town on them. They are very, very dead.
This has been a good day. They may not even need to pay me for this.
And over to Dathos.
Am I able to get to the big guy from here, or are there still Skaven in the way?
There's still essentially two swarms ahead of you.
Then I will start hacking at a swarm. Crystal Blade. And they are on
Poor defense.
Poor
rats.
I didn't charge, did I?
No, you're just in combat with
Roll.
They are dead. I'd like to think that you didn't even really use your sword. You kind of just like barged forward with your shield and knocked them over, and then started stamping on them as you went over the top of them to get to the next swarm.
Oops. Sorry, I don't know what I did there.
Oh wow! Oh, did you just spend you just accidentally spent a soul fire? Don't worry, I've just put it.
Yeah.
I'll put it back. It was not letting me put it back. Why are you not letting me put it back? That's because there we go. I've put it back. So yeah, you kind of like barge one with your shield and clump it down. You stamp on a couple of them, cut a couple of them up, but they are all dead and standing. All that's left in the room now is Shifty Backstabber and one last swarm of rats who are looking at Shifty, looking at you, looking at Shifty. You can clearly tell they're trying to decide whether Shifty's scary enough for them to have to stay and fight a little bit longer, or whether they're going to run away. So back to the top, it's Shifty, and as I explained earlier, he pulls out something out of his cloak, his little vial, and he throws it at the wall just behind Tanzil. And you can all smell it. It is a god-awful smell. You're not entirely sure what was in that jar, but it smells flipping horrible. And then Tanzil, he's going to attack you.
Okay.
So you are back up to great defense, but he is still combat down because he's got challenged. So you're great, but he is down to good. So he stabbies. He does 4 damage. You are currently armor free, so you will take one of those.
Okay.
And then he is going to use a metal to activate dodge, so that his defense step. he can't put his defense step up any further. It's superb. So he's not going to do that. He's just going to try and stab you again. He'll stabby you again. And he does 3 damage, but you've currently got 3 armor, so you don't take any damage.
Cool.
Excellent. And then it's over to you, Tanzil.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
Boom, shot.
Yeah. He squeals hard. No, it hurts. Run,
Put that
Fifi.
4 up.
You can indeed.
Yeah.
So he's screeching and hobbling. He really isn't in a good place. He kind of collapses towards the floor and he's kind of waving his stabber at you. Get back, elf, get back. No, run, flee, protect me while I flee. He's shouting at the other clan rats. But it looks like he's pretty much down at this point. He's somehow hanging on as if he has some backup wounds. But he is on the floor waving his thing, sort of dragging himself along the floor, trying to get away from you. But yeah, that's over to Mr. Ragewood.
You're muted, Raj.
There's still a swarm next to me, isn't there?
There's the only swarm left in the room now. You do have a clear path to also Stabby, who's dragging himself along the floor.
Okay, well, let's.
Or the cartographer, who's still hanging on the wall with a gag in her mouth at this moment in time.
Percy, deal with this issue first.
Was that into?
I actually forgot to change the defense target. So no, this is on the swarm.
Yeah, even if you changed the defense target, they're dead. They're very dead, even without the change. So
I'm going to use my metal to finish the squealing thing.
Yeah, I'm not even going to make you roll for it because he's basically one roll away from dying anyway.
Can I stamp on his head?
You can absolutely stamp on his head. So he's like,
just because the noise is irritating. I'm just going to block his sword with my scythe and then stamp on his head.
Oh no! And it's gross. It's not a nice thing to have on the bottom of your foot. That's for certain. And he's dead. Oh, poor old shifty backstabber. We knew him well. So yeah, so currently there's a very horrible smell still in the tunnel. And the cartographer is currently got a gag in her mouth. We'll step out of initiative. What would people like to do?
Is the cartographer in kind of the foul smelling stuff?
No. It basically, so where Tanzil had like flown over the top, so that you had like sort of the cartographer was here, Shifty was here, and then Tanzil kind of sliced and swung around and was here. The wall behind Tanzil, so beyond the cartographer, has got this. You can see a clear stain on the wall where it got wet. It's very smelly, and there's another tunnel that goes deeper down.
Do we know what the gas is?
Grim doesn't care about that. He goes over to the cartographer and cuts her down and pulls a gag out of her mouth.
I'm going to start looking for the compass.
She's very, very, very weary. She's currently missing 4 toes, 2 from each foot. They were very, very symmetrical about how they chopped off her toes, starting from little inwards.
He will. He'll call to Grimnir and cast Carterize to try to at least get her back on her feet.
Yeah, she seems very uncomfortable about the fact that you're burning the ends of her stubbles that she now has, but she is thankful.
It'll be fine.
She does feel slightly revitalized, if you could say that. She's moving around, but she instantly goes to the table.
Walk it off.
She instantly goes to the weird sort of makeshift table-y crate thing that obviously the Skaven had set up to interrogate her. And she's like shuffling through, and she's like, we have to go now. And she's like clutching the map.
Right. Where's the compass?
The they took it, not these ones, but the other ones. It all happened at once.
The crescent moon people. Right. Okay, let's go.
I'll pick her up.
Yeah. But before you can start moving away, there's a rumble. Like something's coming. And she like, we need to go. And bursting out of the tunnel, you now realize that smell, it's rat wee. It's a pheromone. And 2 rat ogres burst from the tunnel in response. They're uncontrollable. They're raging. And they're slamming and everything. What would you like to do? Would you like to stay and fight, or are you going to run for your lives?
Stay and fight.
Okay, we enter back into initiative then. And we'll see how fast the rat ogres are. You'll be happy to know that the rat ogres are big and thus only have initiative 2.
Oh, great! They go at the same time as me.
No, as you're the players, you go first. That's how the game works. So we'll start at the top. Tanzil, these giant ogres have appeared out of nowhere. You're probably feeling a little bit banged up at the moment for your fight previously, but you're an elf and you don't show it. So what would you like to do, sir?
I'm going to smite one of them.
Okie dokie. So you come forward and you hit one of them. They have defense. They have
Can I
defense.
use the blast this time?
Yes, you can. Yep. We've come out of combat, and I imagine you probably took some time to stroke your reel down and whatnot. Don't laugh, Roger.
I spent a bit of time, played with it, and
yeah, now it's feeling better, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it's ready to shoot its electric again.
All over its face.
So yeah,
what's his defense?
Good, and he's like thumping and whatnot, and
can I double my training on the hit?
You can, you can if you use your metal point. Excellent. You've got a focus available, so you can convert one of those 2s.
Yeah.
Okay, give you another point of damage, and because he can't have any armor, so that's 6 points of damage. So that's a pretty hefty good whack in it. But your blade kind of lodges in, and you're like, and the rat kind of just looks at you. And it's Ragewood's turn. You're currently holding the cartographer.
I'm going to put the cartographer down, and
I
then
figured you would. Yeah. So there's 2 of them. They're close together.
Okay. Yeah. I'll charge the other one to make sure it doesn't get to the cartographer.
Yeah. So it's roaring. It's beating its chest. It's got, well, I say beating its chest. Like one hand's a fisty claw, and the other one's just a big old stubble of blade. Oh, of course, you would do that to it, wouldn't you? Okay. So 7 points of damage.
So 7 points to one and 5 damage to the other one.
Okay. So the 5 damage one, of course, he gets armor against this, so he takes 2 points of damage. So yeah, that's him. And then the other one takes, sorry, was it 7? Was it to that one?
Yeah, 7 to the primary one, 5 to the other one.
Okay, it's a 7 to that one minus the 3 armor. So that's
5. I'm going to activate Bulwark.
Yep, because there is 2 of them. Lovely. He's down to that. Lovely. Yeah, I mean, again, you sort of cleave into him, and you think it's a good hit. Like there's a lot of like ichor coming out of it, but at the same time, it doesn't seem to be that bothered by the fact that you've just sliced it. And the one that was beating his chest with a blade stub on that, and you've managed to catch him too. Again, taking lots of blood and stuff coming out of it, if you can call it blood. But again, seems relatively unaffected at this moment in time. So then we head down the chart to Red Hammer or Dathos.
Grim will move in front of the cartographer for a moment and again call out to Grimnir in that gravelly voice, enacting runic empowerment to improve everybody's armor by 1.
I didn't see that coming.
I know. That was a shocker.
Dathos.
Was there enough room to charge?
Yeah. I mean, these things are massive. So if you think of like the zone sort of 5 meters wide sort of space where the big tunnel was, they've come through that shoulder to shoulder. So there's 2 of them. So even though Ragewood is big, Tanzil's not, he's quite slight, even on his heel. There's plenty of space for you to get in there and join him.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really, really tall, not so much wide.
So they're put their target defense.
Good.
Good. Oh, but +1 dice for charging.
+1 dice for charging, but you do obviously lose a point of defense.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. I'm going to activate Bulwark as well. Eesh. I might re-roll that.
By all means.
Yeah, I'm
We
going to
have
re-roll
rerolls?
that. I thought we had re-rolls.
I
No.
don't think so.
Oh, we don't have re-rolls.
Nope.
What's going on, chat? In which case, I'll have to stick with that.
Okay.
You
Then
can spend a focus, can't you, to make the 5 or 6?
Yeah, you got a focus. Yeah, you can do a focus to get the additional.
There you go.
Which one was you hitting?
The closest one.
Well, they're both standing next to each other. So there's one engaged with Tanzil and there's one engaged with Ragewood.
Tanzans.
Okie dokie. So that's 5 points then. Becomes 2. Okay, yeah. So that one's looking a little bit more beat up now. So he's but at the same time, the blood's starting to pool on the floor, and they're starting to get a bit angry. And for what it's worth, that makes them scarier. That's my best acting. Okay. So the one sort of, I imagine you've sort of wedged yourself, Daphos, in between Ragewood and Tanzil. You're all kind of like fighting back these massive beasts as they're trying to come forward. Ragewood, the first one's going to attack you because you did significant damage to it. So what's your defense rating? Because you just did Bulwark, didn't you? So you're great now, aren't you?
Great, yeah.
Okay, but because there is blood all over the floor, they move up a melee step to superb.
Oish.
Wow.
Okay, yeah, they've just dealt 5 points of damage to you. You have 3 armor, so 2.
Oof.
Yes. And then he will spend his metal to attack again.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
And there he is with another 2 points after your armor.
What happens when you go below your toughness?
Oh, he's got the wounds.
Goes into wounds.
I'm not there yet, but
So once you start taking wounds, you have to start doing rolls. No, you've got your wound counter. I should have looked at this because I didn't think I would get you down that far, but
yeah, because I got damaged before and then again. So
that's fine. You got a Dwarden who can touch you and heal you.
If you take 1 damage, you get a minor wound. If you take 2 to 4, you get a serious wound. If you take more than 5, it's a deadly wound.
Yeah. And that's with a single hit. And then once your wound thing runs out, you have to start doing dying rolls, if I remember rightly.
Yep, yeah. Death tests. Yep.
Yeah. Oof. Okay. And then the next one is he's kind of lashing out in both directions. He's quite badly injured at this point. So he's gonna hit Tanzil.
No, take me. I'll take it up. Just go on.
There isn't actually a combat action you can take called Defend, where you pick out one of your allies and any attacks directed at them have to be directed at you. You essentially stand in their way and protect them. So something for future reference as we go through the game. So is your defense great at the moment? Did you activate by Bulwark? Oh no, I'm talking to Tanzil. Yeah, your defense is always great. That's one of your things you've got. Okie dokie.
Oh, that's a hard punch.
Hey, you've got 3 armor at the moment, Jim. So you're taking 5 of that.
Oh. So I've gone through my toughness now.
So you take your first wound then. How much? Yeah, because that would be just 1 damage onto your.
Is it? Because I've gone like 6 over.
You've gone 6 over.
Yeah.
Oh, so that's a deadly wound.
That's a deadly wound. I am awfully sorry about how many wounds do you have?
It's 3 ticks on the wound chart.
Yeah, it's
Red
free.
deadly wounds.
Yeah,
I
so
do have 4 wounds, but it's gone 6, isn't it? So
no, because
Oh.
it's a deadly wound. You only take 3.
right.
So you've got 1 wound left.
You've got 1 wound left.
You'll be fine.
Yeah. That does, if I remember rightly, you are now you can't fight any further, if I remember rightly now, or is that when you're in death? I think it's when
That's
death.
when you're in death. You get
Yes, when
stun
death.
condition.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah, and then the next.
It won't let me change the wounds.
Yeah, the wound counter thing's a bit weird. It's fine. Hopefully you won't.
Sorry, just remember it.
Yeah. And then the next one's going to swing at you, Dathos. You charged, didn't you? But
I've got bulwark up.
But bulwark up, so it balances itself back out. Okay, that's fine. So you're great, and he is superb because he is raging on the blood smell that's around the room right now. Doing 5 points. Doing. It's just you, Jim.
So he does 5.
Because you've got armor 4 at the moment, you take 1 point.
1 point on my 11 toughness.
All right, show off.
So I just wanted to put that in there.
All right. If these ogres survive on a round, I think they're going to be angry at the very silver man that's standing there.
That's why I said bring it on, man.
So we're back to the top. So Tanzil, that's you on your 6 initiative.
Well, so I can't fight, can I?
You can. It's only if you're in the death sort of phase.
He's having some more.
You're also getting angry, right?
Yeah.
So their defense rating's good, and you've got a point of metal you can spend to do as you see fit. You can either attack twice or whatever.
Double your training bonus.
Or double your training bonus, whichever.
Yeah. One focus available, yeah.
Yeah, so you can turn one of those 2s into a 3.
Yeah.
Okay, this one in front of you, Tanzil's looking pretty banged up at this point. He looks, he's kind of swaying side to side. He's got death by 1,000 cuts. He's got cuts all over him, cuts from where he was cleaved by the tree, cuts where he was stabbed by the stormcast, cuts where you've chopped him up a couple of times. He's not looking great. He's looking like he's frailed and ready to fall over, but he is still standing, but he's got lots of holes in him at this point. And then we move over to Mr. Ragewood.
Okay, let's start hacking.
Nice. So that is 7 damage onto the one in front of you, -3. So that is 4 points of damage. Yep. So I mean, he's this one's still looking pretty fresh, but it's getting more holes in it now. As sort of blood has got some slices across his chest, but all it seems to be doing is driving them into a more rabid frenzy.
I'm going to spend my metal to attack again.
Go for it.
For 8 more damage.
Okay, so the one that cleaves through doesn't hurt the other one. -3 off that, that's 5. Wow, yeah. Yeah, okay. So where he was looking fairly substantial still from your first slice, as you sort of bring your scythe back around to give another sort of bisecting cut, it looks like, again, blood's pouring out of its neck. It's coagulating pretty quickly, but it looks like, again, it's sort of stumbling now. It looks like it's about to go down. Red Hammer or Daphos?
Red Hammer will walk up behind the elf. He'll be like, "Favor owed, favor repaid." And he thrusts his burning forge key against the elf's back and casts Carterize on him. And I will use my point of metal to add my soul in healing. So he heals 5 points of toughness.
There you go, Jim. 5 points of toughness. You're doing fine. You'll be all right.
So I get 5 points back?
Yeah.
Of toughness.
Toughness. Yeah, your wounds take a little longer to heal up, or they require special spells to do. wounds. Which, if are you going to spend any more metal, or you?
That's tapped my metal out because I had to.
Oh yeah, because you're
one to
using you
maintain.
use one to maintain as well, don't you? Yeah. And in which case, it takes us to Dathos. Two very bedraggled, looking and almost like this in the distance. Lightning starts to come around your sword a little bit. It looks like your
Target's defense is superb, isn't it?
No, their target defense is good. They're fighting their combat.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
Yeah, they're only good in defense.
Hard.
Yeah, but their defense can never be great or anything like that because they're massive and they're quite easy to hit.
Turn that 3 into a 4.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hold on. No, I applied it on the wrong one.
That's fine. It doesn't matter either way. So this first one sort of roars up as he's been cleaved multiple times, and as he kind of shows you this, you can see his ribs. You can almost see the thump behind the rib cage of his heart, and you, with absolute precision, drive your blade into the heart and back out. And he roars for a little bit, and then just face plants the ground.
Well, as I can't use Bulwark now because there's only one of them. There's only one. I will spend a metal point to do another attack.
Go for it. And if you change that 3 into a 4.
Donk.
And so you stab in, stab out. This first one hits the floor. This other one's roaring, and he's sort of encroaching on the very wounded sort of Tanzil as he's being healed. And it looks like he kind of raises his bladed hand. He hasn't got arm; it's just a blade fitted to his arm, and he brings it up to slice it down. And as he slices down, your blade comes up underneath and takes the arm off. And as it roars, you bring your sword back round and lop off his very large head, and it kind of just falls into Tanzil's lap. Tanzil's quite heavy, but you're fine. You don't take any damage from it. And all goes quiet. There's no more roaring in the tunnels or anything like that. The smell has begun to dissipate from what is rat pee on the wall. And you are all okay for the most part. And you gather up the cartographer and you make your way back up through the tunnel and into the room where you find Amelin and the students still there. And we will leave it there for this week. We will end it there. It's a good place to end. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. I mean, my players, I hope they've enjoyed it as well.
That was awesome. Thank you very much.
So much fun.
So if one of you, while I chat, can notify Pete that we need to do the stuff. So hopefully everybody's managed to enjoy that who's watching with us tonight. I have no idea what's on Garblag, but normally Aaron knows. So I'm going to go, Aaron, what's on Garblag coming up?
Let's see. On Garblag coming up on Thursday, tomorrow during the day. I don't know what's going on, but I can tell you that tomorrow night, Garblag North America, starting at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, absolute middle of the night British Standard Time. We are playing some Achtung Cthulhu. We are being sponsored by Modifius for their Forests of Fear campaign. We're going to be running for another several weeks, 4 more weeks, in fact. Modifius has given us some great prizes to give away. Starting this week, we're actually giving away physical books. So if you're in Great Britain or anywhere in Europe, brew some coffee, stay up late, join us, and win some cool Achtung Cthulhu stuff, because it is, at the moment, my second favorite game behind Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay 4th Edition. So
definitely worth staying up for.
It is definitely worth staying up for. Major Harry Hammer, my character, is a bio-augmented cybernetic killing machine, and he's joined by a chain-smoking marmot and a few other crazies. So we should have a good time with that. I don't know what is going on during the day on Thursday. Anybody? No, it's Lewis. Lewis is running the One Ring.
The One Ring.
How could I forget that? Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
My God. Fantastic show. You guys can't miss it. And then on Friday, I believe there's some D&D 5th edition that's also being run by Lewis, I believe, doing some sky pirating. So join Garblag all week long.
Excellent. Fantastic. And then next week stuff happens, and join us back next Wednesday for more Age of Sigmar Hallowed Are The Gods, and I hope to see you then. So thank you for viewing, and have a good evening. Take care.
No,
Good
mate.
night.